Good morning, nerds. Hope you had a good evening, night, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Love you all very much. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about something pretty fun. By which I mean, I don't think it's going to be that fun, but hey. So, no, I need you to actually pull up your stat screen, Shiro. As much as I like you, I need to actually see you, because this is the one I've been leveling. And, you know, one of you in the comments below posted this, something along the lines of, hey, you know, Bright Naginata reminds me of another weapon. That, of course, because, well, Bright Naginata and Dark Greatsword both kind of had the same general effect where, you know, it grants 2 stats plus 4, either if they're initiated on or if they initiate, essentially. You know, defensive Shiro here, and, of course, Siegbert, who has his whole Swift Sparrow thing. And, you know, when it comes down to weapon refining, you know, I've been working on getting refining stones again. Managed to get guard bow, so that's a plus side, right? Anyways, haven't transferred it over yet, but still, when it comes down to characters, there's a few oddities and things that I feel really need to be addressed when it comes down to, well, characters, because let's face it, some of them don't make sense. And of course, the biggest one that I can think of right now is probably Roy. When it comes to Binding Blade, it's such an oddity because, you know, essentially he has what would be something similar to Bright Naginata, but instead of actually being, you know, a variation of that or any sort of powerhouse, it's defense and res +2, which isn't bad. You know, this was back in the day when these units were probably, you know, back in the day at least, I know people who swear or swore by Roy, and I still know people who swore by Roy, or, you know, do all that other stuff, but it's really odd to think that, well, certain characters like Roy are out here, and, you know, Binding Blade, not the best ability, obviously. I mean, it kind of is a little bit of a hit or miss kind of deal. Why exactly was he forgotten? We also, of course, have other characters like Korin, you know, male Korin, who has Yato, and Yato is a great blade in its own way, but for some reason, it also got pushed to the wayside. You know, speed +4, nothing too crazy, but nowadays we have units that have additional abilities, and, you know, of course, he's instantly being outparsed by, you know, well, at least when it comes to a legendary weapon, to characters like Siegbert, who just come out and have all of these abilities, and also, you know, tend to have, you know, abilities that are just better out of, just, you know, necessity. Like, I don't think anyone's really going to cry for you if you have Obstruct, I'm just saying, especially a 5-star Obstruct, but, you know, it does really call into, you know, perspective what exactly is happening there, because, you know, I'm hoping that as time goes on, we'll probably get, you know, more legendary heroes that get it. You know, originally when it came to Roy, I thought, well, you know, Roy's our boy and everything, but I figured that it was maybe just a combination of things, like perhaps, just maybe, our good friend Roy here was just kind of being forgotten about, because technically, well, you know, he already has a brave version of himself. Maybe they just didn't want to put any, you know, point in interest when it came to giving it to anyone else. Maybe it was just like, oh, well, you know, Roy has a brave version of himself. They don't really need to worry about that. Well, then I just looked over the list of characters again, and I realized, yeah, technically that isn't truthful, because, again, Lynn, who, you know, is a character that everyone enjoys, I'm sure, Sulcati got an upgrade. It basically just gets Brash Assault and becomes what it was supposed to be anyways, so I really have no idea what's going on there. It's such an oddity. It's so weird to think about it. Meanwhile, characters like, you know, Eldigan, who, you know, needed an upgrade, does definitely need an upgrade. He's getting, you know, mixtures of abilities that really do buff up his sword, and even characters like, say, Jafar, who have been, you know, missing for a little while, he's getting interesting little kicks to his abilities, like, you know, being able to basically negate counterattack for any mage unit out there. So the question then becomes, why were they forgotten? Honestly, I'm really I'm just really confused about that. When it comes to these characters, it really just boggles my mind, because there's all sorts of other characters, you know. I know a lot of people maybe don't think Falchion should probably get an upgrade, but, you know, Falchion is another example of a weapon that could probably stand to get something of a boost. Especially now more than ever, as weapons are starting to not only encroach upon these abilities when it comes to might. You know, slaying weapons, I'm pretty sure, are getting ridiculously close. Certain other characters are just getting the advantage of, you know, being able to outpace them more than ever, and it's such a strange thing to watch. And, you know, then we have characters like lon'qu, who, while I think, you know, Symboling, or I think that's how it's pronounced, is cool in all of its little fantastic ways that it can work to, you know, buff up allies. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to come back and touch upon these characters, because lon'qu's such a cool, odd choice, but maybe I'm just being weird. Maybe we should also touch, you know, the brave... I'm kidding, let's not do that. I know a lot of you are like, oh my god, what? But, yeah. Then, of course, we could, you know, talk about how, you know, we could use an upgrade to Dire Thunder. I'm kidding, don't actually think that's truthful. It's such a strange thing to talk about when it comes to weapons that have been upgraded, but also somehow missed. You know, as much as I like to think about it, Falchion needs an upgrade, Binding Blade, of course, and even Yato, which I feel is a pretty intense weapon. We're seeing a lot more of these units that are coming in and kind of swiping away the territory. I'm hoping that, you know, Weapon Refinery is not just a one update kind of deal, and that we're going to start to see characters that we had before get upgrades that are needed as well. Because Binding Blade, you know, it was kind of a signature thing. It's kind of his signature weapon. It would be such a shame to let that go. I could probably stand it if they, you know, up the, you know, defense and resistance to +4. Who cares? It would probably be fine. But, you know, maybe go about it a different way. Make it something more like Lin or Eldigan, where we get new evolutionary tools to go along with it. Maybe, or maybe just make it so they upgrade. Who knows? You know, just to give an example, here's Slaying Edge when it has, you know, full might on its whole repertoire, and as you can see, might 16. That's matching certain characters' weapon styles, and like that is bizarre. 16 might, meanwhile Falchion, all it really has is renewal. Now, granted, renewal is a cool ability. It really comes in handy when using it, you know, those Falchion users as HP batteries, but Binding Blade, oh boy, enjoy your +2 defense and +2 resistance when you go into battle, boys. It's really gonna help you out there. And then, of course, we have other characters like, you know, Yato, which, I mean, granted, +4 speed is cool, but we really need to look at the characters that were missed. And, you know, just to give an example of a really great legendary weapon that has been upgraded, Hot Claire got not only what it needed, but also just, you know, such a great concept to add into that, because that +10 damage from a special trigger, and it was the original slaying weapon, I guess, in a sense. It amazes me that you wouldn't, you know, you would probably go with this over something like this, obviously. It's an oddity, it's crazy, but I'm not sure. Do you guys think of any other characters that were missed? Any other characters that you could think of? And, you know, I've seen Fujin Yumi's upgrade as well, and it's such... it's in such a way that, yes, I know, it's not the greatest, but at least they touched it, I guess. You can't win them all, is what I'm trying to say. At least you can upgrade its damage, I guess. But still, I think we do need to talk about the characters that are missing. And, you know, some people may not want to upgrade Falchion. Some of you may be like, well, Falchion is its own thing. But Binding Blade, I feel, needs to be touched upon. And, if, you know, Yato might not be a bad idea. Because our boy Roy needs a little bit more love. Don't you guys think? Anyways, I'm gonna go and lay down, probably. I'm still kind of recovering from this whole spurt of energy stuff, so catch you all later. Thanks for watching.